Welcome in to the 54th episode of the Southern Boys Sports Podcast. My name is Drew Long's. My co-host Ben Clay.
What's going on, guys?
Episode 54. We've got a new setup. And it, honestly, for the people at home, I do apologize because when we're looking here on our recording site, it gives you a little bar, right? Green all the way on the bottom is like you're barely talking. Red is like you're like really yelling.
It's always
I always took it to the I took it to the red that time.
Deep red.
I took it to the deep red on that welcome. So I do apologize, people, but we are back onto the pod. Episode number 54. We've got some fun things coming ahead. All right, we got some fun things coming ahead. We got three teams we want to touch on, three situations around college football that we're going to predict, talk about all that good stuff. Media Day headlines, Ben, right? We were at SEC. We were not at SEC Media Days. When I talked to Greg Sankey via FaceTime, he said that the invitation was lost in the mail bin. I think we established that. So
I texted with them, and
it was a big cluster. So don't worry about that. We were not at SEC Media Days. In all seriousness, obviously we're kidding there, but in all seriousness, do hope to get that invitation in the future. But for right now, we can talk about it at home, do some fun things with it on the pod. But Ben, most importantly, how's this past week been for you? We've definitely got some fun things going down in the coming weeks. Obviously, school starting back not too far. School starting back and not too long. But we got a couple of days left to summer before, the college football season right on the rise.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm so excited for that. I was just thinking back to when I was just watching games and just the enjoyment you get out of them. Just a different feeling. So I'm super excited for that to be back. And school was rough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy seeing the people, seeing everybody back. But I mean, dude,
I won't. I'm not a big people person.
Some of these classes, man.
Yeah, no, the classes are gonna be bad. Should be a good time. And I think in this episode, right, we got media days headlines. Mm-hmm. We've got teams that we'll get to later. I won't spoil it right now. It's in the title though. It's North Carolina. It's Wisconsin. And it's Notre Dame. All right, three teams that we wanted to touch on. We're talking about, how are we going to talk about Notre Dame, all this, and we decided to go against just continuing to do conferences because no disrespect to these smaller schools, but in my honest opinion, I think people would rather listen to us talk about Notre Dame than Boston College. So no disrespect to the Boston College Eagles, right? They got some pretty cool jerseys, but Ben's also got some trivia for me here on episode 54. I think he's got 5 questions for me, which is always a good time. But first and foremost, Ben, we have got SEC, Big 12, and I think a little bit of Pac-12 media days. But before all that, the Colorado Buffaloes headed to the Big 12. I know when we talked about it, you were like, yeah, obviously, it's a pretty big move, but, we saw this coming, which is true. But what a move. What a freaking move from Deion Sanders and their program. They are headed to the Big 12 Big 12 in 2024, trying to replace the likes of Texas, OU, all those good schools. So huge deal in college football.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something where the Pac-12, man, that conference is changing vastly. We were talking about it with each other, and we were like, dude, you lose UCLA, USC, Colorado. The conference definitely just got a bit weaker. College football playoff standpoint from a team in that conference.
Yeah.
Maybe a higher team actually looks a bit better, but It's an interesting thing where obviously I think it has a lot to do with the media deal.
Yeah.
Big 12 gets some ESPN stuff, and it's nice for that. And so I think media deal for the Pac-12 is a key thing that they have to figure out before other teams are like, you know what, maybe I want to go too.
Yeah.
So it's rough for the Buffaloes. I feel like smart move. But the Pac-12, it hurts them.
And according to Brett McMurphy, obviously for the Action Network, at Brett_McMurphy over on Twitter, it was really a lack of stability is what Colorado kind of stated in their reason for leaving. So, you don't have a stable base of like, what are we even going to see out of this conference, right? USC and UCLA are leaving in 2024 to go to the Big Ten. We got a couple teams kind of teetering on in and out. San Diego State might be coming in. You don't really have a media rights deal, as you referred to, Ben. So lack of stability. Buffalo's head of the Big 12. Is this an immediate contender in the Big 12, Ben? Is this a team that's going to come into the Big 12 with no Texas, no Oklahoma, right? It's going to be a weaker conference, no doubt, right? You're going to lose 2 of your top contenders. The other 2, I would probably say Kansas State is going to be consistently very good. TCU has the potential to be consistently very good. And, maybe, BYU, UCF, all those schools. But is this Colorado team going to be able to compete in the Big 12? I mean, I know they're going to be able to compete, but are they going to be able to compete for conference titles? And how soon are we thinking? How soon are we thinking on a Colorado Big 12 championship?
Next year is it depends on how they develop this year, but I would say it's very doable as soon as next year.
Yeah. Young team this year.
You are, and you're hoping to develop, and you go into a Big 12 where there's a lot of other teams going in there.
Yeah.
New teams.
Yeah.
So you're adjusting in that same period as a lot of other teams.
Yeah.
And, it really, the door's open.
I think this is one of the better realignment moves, in my personal opinion, because I know in realignment, right, one of the main ideas is like, whatever happened to like geographical location stuff, which is fair, but Colorado wasn't the Big 8, right? They were an original Big 8 team. They've played the likes of Oklahoma, Kansas, all those schools that were in the Big 8. So this isn't a move that came out of left field, right? Like you said, Ben, it's something that has been in the news. It's something that has been discussed. It's something that, was a big topic at Pac-12 Media Days and all that good stuff. So Colorado going to the Big 12 is a move that I actually really like, right? I actually really like the move because, like you said, Ben, you got 3-4 new teams adjusting into the conference in 2024. And as much as I don't love to say it, no shade at these teams, but it's going to take a Houston more than 1 year to, kind of adjust to what the Big 12 schedule is going to look like, adjust to the recruiting that they're going to have to go against and all that stuff. So now Colorado comes in. They've got one of the better atmospheres in college football, it seems like. They're hyped up to the max this year, which we'll see how they contend. But now you're bringing a team with some real hype, black and gold Kool-Aid coming down from Boulder, Colorado to the Big 12. So geographically, it's close enough in this day and age of college football. I really like the move. I think the Big 12 did what they needed to do. I think Brett Yormark grabbed a team he knew that viewers and people were going to love to see in the conference. And I know some people will be against it. Some people are against what Coach Prime is doing. But even bigger than that, right? You lose probably two of your best teams in the Big 12 as of recent. And now you get it with a team with a lot of hype around them and a team that could ultimately compete, like you said, Ben. So a lot of time to adjust for this team. I really do like what Colorado's got rolling. And we'll see what they do this year, right? We'll see what they do this year, Ben. Let's get to Media Day headlines, all right? I'll let you kick us off. Talked about Colorado to the Big 12, which is substantial news in the college football landscape. But we do have Media Day headlines to get to. SEC Media Days was a whirlwind, was a fun thing to keep up with. So go ahead and kick us off.
So, it's not as much Media Day, like headlines or like talking about like quotes we have, but it's the SEC polls from the media.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can just go down the list. Georgia, this is in the East. Georgia has 265 first place votes. Okay.
That's fair.
Reasonable.
Yeah, logical.
Tennessee, 14. Okay. In second place, that makes sense.
Fair.
South Carolina with 3. In fourth, actually. We'll see. Kentucky with 1 in fifth. And then all the way down to the bottom of the conference, we have Vanderbilt.
With 8.
With 8.
That's crazy.
With more than South Carolina.
Yeah.
More than Kentucky. More than Florida. More than Missouri. So, I mean...
they're drinking the black and gold Kool-Aid in a different sense. Not Colorado, but Vandy.
With the doors instead. But really, I think this is a weird one. Do you ever see a possibility of Vandy winning this division?
Not this year. I can tell you that much. I know Clark Lee at SEC Media Days in 2022 said that their ultimate goal is to be the best team in either the conference or the college football landscape, and everybody thought he was a freaking jackwagon, which in that situation seems like he would be an absolute jackwagon. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think they've got the makings to be a team that could potentially push in 3, 4, 5 years, but the recruiting, here's the thing. I can't remember what podcast I heard this on. And I would give him, I think it was JD Pickell, right? He was live from SEC Media Days, and he was talking about, who was he talking about? I think he was talking about the Georgia, right? He was talking about Georgia, and then he was talking about TCU, right? The national championship game, which ultimately did not end up good for TCU. But when he was talking about that game, right, he was on the sideline. He said, anybody that I've heard, Ben, has said that Georgia just looked bigger, right? So JD Pickell said, this is a guy that, Kirby Smart is a guy that has brought in so much talent that stacking classes is more important than just overall talent in the moment. He's stacked so many classes that he has got, the athletes and the guys and the dudes. He's just got the Jimmies and Joes over TCU. So stacking classes is important. Vanderbilt has not stacked any classes. I don't think they win until they continue to recruit decent, right? They're going to have to, academic restrictions are going to take a toll on them. But if they can recruit decent, right, if they can do something where they bring in a top 30, 40 class consistently and start stacking those kind of classes, obviously in the new SEC it's going to be tough. But 4, 5, 6 years, maybe you could convince me they're at least in a spot where they may be slept on or maybe in a position to push.
Do you think that the SEC is bad for Vanderbilt? Do you think the SEC is bad for Vanderbilt?
I don't think the SEC is bad for Vanderbilt. You can't remove them anyways because, you know what I mean, they're a team that's freaking
I know, I'm not saying SEC removes them,
staple.
but I'm saying should they want to go somewhere where they can win in football?
Yeah, maybe.
Because obviously other sports like
but I think
baseball,
recruiting-wise,
like that,
I think recruiting-wise, it's one of the only things that keeps them afloat. Because if you're a Vanderbilt team in like the Big 12 without Texas and Oklahoma, right? Like, what is your selling point?
I mean, they're still at that point. This team they have right now is 7-5.
No, right? They're good enough to make a bowl game because they're not playing as rigorous as a schedule. But then again, you're probably not going to get AJ Swan because you're probably not going to be down recruiting Georgia and AJ Swan at SEC offers. He's going to want to go play for Georgia. He's going to want to go play for Alabama or Tennessee or Miami or Florida or anything like that. I threw Tennessee in there. I saw the smirk.
I was just.
But no, seriously. Like, I think it would definitely hurt the recruiting because I think SEC is such a sell, especially in the South, that if you're trying to recruit Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Texas, even maybe, even in the state of Tennessee, you go out to the East Coast, go to South Carolina, North Carolina. Like, a lot of those guys want to play SEC ball, right? IMG, a lot of those kids are going to play SEC ball. So if you're in a conference like the Big 12 or Pac-12, you're trying to recruit in the South and say, hey, come out here and play road games against frickin' Colorado. Like, I just don't know how big of a selling point that is on the trail. But yeah, back on the media day stuff. 8 first place votes for the Doors is unreal.
I mean, I guarantee you, it could have been like Georgia voters, and they're like, all right, we got in like, do you know? I don't know if you do, but are they allowed to vote for their own team?
I'm not sure. It is on custom video quality here, man.
Yeah.
The video quality should be better. It looks pretty good, I think.
It looks better for me. So it's interesting. Like, I want to know. I want to know who voted for them.
I mean, I would say it could be a mixed bag of like you can't vote for your own team, so you just vote for the bottom team, just like waste a vote.
The bottom team, so you don't vote for the top team.
But then again,
I
apologize for not knowing the rules.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure on the rules of like if you can vote for your own team, and I'm sure there's people yelling at us right now that we don't know. But like I mean that almost has to be the case because there's no way somebody seriously, and no disrespect to the program, they're just not in a position to win the SEC East. I think any Vandy fan that you ask is going to say, yeah, okay. I mean, we're not in a position to win the freaking SEC East this year. Yeah, you would hope so. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is an SEC East contender. I don't think this is an SEC contender, obviously. So those 8 first place votes definitely weird. Kentucky with 1. Like you said, South Carolina grabs 3 first place votes. I would say that's probably about right. I would say you add a couple more onto South Carolina. I would say if you add like 5 of those Vanderbilt votes to South Carolina and 3 of them to Kentucky, I would say that's about what I expect. Is that what I would do? Absolutely not. I think Kentucky's ultimately slept on this year.
But I don't see them winning the division.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick to win the division, I would pick Georgia, right? And if I had to pick to win the West, it would be Alabama, who were the 2 first place leading voters. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I guess there are some people who just want to be different. When I was watching a video on Twitter by Saturday Down South, shout out to them. They were at SEC Media Days. And they went around asking people, like, who do you think is going to win the conference? And I would say 95% of people said Georgia, 3% of people said Alabama, and the other percent of people said LSU. Right? So it's I guess it's a mixed bag of wanting to be different, wanting to pick the team that, you say this team's going to do it this year, or those guys can vote for their team and they're voting for their team. I guess it just kind of depends. We'll see.
Right. And moving on to the West here, I love this division this year. This is going to be a very fun division to watch. And basically every team has a vote, except for one that you would think would have a vote, but it doesn't have a vote. And
it's Ole Miss.
The third place team has a lot of votes, and I'm not really sure. Except Auburn. Okay, it's Auburn with 4 votes, which is the third most.
Yeah.
I could 100% see an Auburn media person picking Auburn.
Yeah. No, I could see it too. I mean, you look here. On the ballot, it's Alabama, 165 first place votes. LSU with 117. That's fair, I would say. Auburn with 4, like you said. Arkansas with 3. Miss State with 1. Ole Miss with none.
And, it's the Alabama LSU is going to be a great watch.
Dude, that just makes me have chills. Like, I literally got chills from you saying that. From the game last year, the freaking
Well,
OT
I know in
thriller.
our predictions, I went different and picked LSU.
Yeah, you have LSU, I have Bama.
So, I mean, anything could happen. That's a little rivalry built in there.
Yeah, seriously.
So, anything could happen. I really think that almost 5 teams in this division I could see winning the division.
Yeah, the division's open. I mean, I think when we talked about the SEC West, that was what, episode 52?
52.
I think 52.
51.
51 was the West?
51 was the West.
So 51 was the West. When we talked about the West, I said it was a free-for-all. That was kind of my disclaimer. Like, really anything could happen. I would say, obviously, Alabama, LSU are the runaway number 2 top favorites. I'd say, it's kind of a mixed bag of people. But I'd say majority right now is kind of leaning toward Alabama. But there are plenty of people who are picking LSU to win the West. So it is definitely a free-for-all. I think Arkansas could be a dark horse. I have them as a freaking dark horse. Ole Miss has the weapons. Auburn, they can figure out their QB room. Like, we'll see how that goes. Miss State has a quarterback who could do it for him. I mean, he throws 30-plus touchdowns a freaking year. And, ultimately, it is a free-for-all for sure. Auburn with 4 votes is a little bit confusing. I would be less surprised if it was Ole Miss with 4 and Auburn with none.
Auburn's an interesting team. Hugh Freeze today, great pool. I'm pretty sure it's DJ Riddick, 5-star. They picked Auburn over like Georgia and Bama.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hugh Freeze, he's working. And really, like this year, I'm not really sure because is it a lot of Hugh Freeze's own players? Not really. I guess he brings in Peyton Thorne, and sure. I guess that counts. But
yeah,
I wouldn't see Peyton Thorne winning the SEC West over Bama or something like that. But Hugh Freeze in the next upcoming years, I would not be as confused as 4 votes right here.
Yeah.
But Auburn with 4 is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting.
I like Miss State with 1 too.
Somebody's drinking the Kool-Aid. Brandon Walker from Barstool. Could be him.
We're going to have to get over that saying
real quick. The Kool-Aid. I said it like 4 times this episode. It's stuck in my head. But no, Mississippi State, while we're on it, I know you have a pretty big topic that we want to touch on SEC Media Days wise. But did you see what Will Rogers said at Media Days?
What did he say?
The question was, what's so difficult about playing against Georgia's defense? Which is like, I mean, what kind of question is like? Is that a trick? I mean, like every player every player that they've produced has gone to the freaking NFL draft, basically.
That's interesting.
But no, Will Rogers said everybody on their defense is a 5-star, plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. So
that is true.
There you go. I mean, it is true. Keely Ringo to the Eagles. Jordan Davis is on the Eagles now. Nakobe Dean. Yeah, all those guys. But I mean, it's true. Like you bring in a bunch of 5-stars and produce them. Like, what kind of question? Obviously, it's tough to play against Georgia's defense because they bring in 5-stars who were just bred to play football. And then another thing that I saw was Josh Pate, right? Josh Pate from 24/7 and CBS Sports. Shout out to him. Credit to him. But he sat down with Nick Saban at Media Days and was basically just asking about Caleb Downs, right? The 5-star safety that's going to come in, most likely make a really felt immediate impact here in 2023. But no, he asked him about Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? Minkah Fitzpatrick, now obviously a very, very good safety in the NFL.
There's Will Rogers last year against Georgia. He did solid. They did lose 45-19.
Okay. I mean, okay.
29 for 51.
He was slinging it.
261 yards and a touchdown. No picks, no turn. Like I don't.
Did he run?
Fumbled. He wasn't the team's leading rusher, but I mean, it's solid.
That's not bad at all.
I think he had 1 rush for 7 yards, so he probably got sacked once.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not terrible.
It's not bad. That's not bad at all. But no, like I was saying, Josh Pate sat down, Nick Saban, they were talking about Caleb Downs. The comparison to Minkah Fitzpatrick came up because Pate was basically like, Minkah was another guy who came out of high school and everybody was saying this guy's going to make an immediate impact, right? He's just like eats, sleeps, breathes football. He's ready to go, right? And Nick Saban basically said like I guess kind of give you a look into what Caleb Downs is like. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these football players, you talk about Caleb Downs, right? We're going to say Caleb Downs, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Ja'Cory Brooks, all those guys' names. I mean, we don't know what they're like. We're not in that locker room. We're not interviewing them on a weekly basis, unfortunately. So we don't know what Caleb Downs is like. We don't know if he's got the mental headspace to go out there and compete. But Nick Saban basically said he's a stand-up guy outside in the classroom, stand-up guy in the locker room, stand-up guy on the field, and he works hard, right? He's a hard worker and all that good stuff. So I know we're both bought in on Caleb Downs. I thought that was pretty interesting. That we kind of got to saw what Caleb Downs was about this summer. So I'm freaking hyped for Caleb Downs. Alabama fans, dude, I would be so hyped to see that guy in the secondary.
For sure. I'm not here to say anything, but like OU and Peyton Bowen, I'm so excited for that. And I mean, Caleb Downs is that same thing.
There's definitely freshmen, and it's always. I mean, you're talking. We're in the freaking kind of getting out of the dry off season in college football.
Right.
And now we're kind of in the preseason stage, I would say. We're almost kind of here into August, probably about a month away from kickoff almost. This coming up Saturday will be a month away. So it's going to be fun. I mean, that's so crazy that we're still a month away and we've been freaking talking college football this whole time, just ramping up for the season. So it's going to be fun when we're there, but no, definitely. I mean, there's definitely players you look forward to. I can't wait to see Joe Milton get out on the field, even if he sucks. I'm going to be upset, but even if he sucks, like I'm just excited to see him get out there, get after it, and all that good stuff.
See how that works out. And, from what you've been saying, jump into the next headline here.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a quote from Nick Saban, who we just talked about.
Yeah.
I think experience matters. I really do. But I also think that when you have young players who are hungry and have great energy and enthusiasm, that's helpful to the team chemistry. So, like we just said, Caleb Downs, true freshman, but it has looked, and I guess Nick Saban has seen as well, he deserves to be on the field. Some people are like, true freshman, he probably won't get much PT. We won't see that much. But he is going to get that type of PT. And someone that I was thinking about as a comparison, Kinshad Judkins last year.
Sure.
There was Zach Evans, the 5-star running back from TCU, transfers in to Ole Miss, and so it's him and Kinshad Judkins. And Judkins wins the job over him and goes for like almost 7,000
7,000 yards.
What am I saying?
He would have been on his
1,700 receiving yards. So, I mean, teams are smart, and that is a reason why Nick Saban's dynasty is so good.
Yeah.
It's because he plays the people he needs to play.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if Will Rogers has 7 years over Bryce Young. Like, I guarantee you Bryce Young would have had that PT.
Sure. I mean,
actually, Will Rogers is a bad comparison. I'm sorry. Peyton Thorne.
I see
7 years on his belt, I would still take freshman Bryce Young.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that definitely kind of explains the mindset, I guess, behind, like, what he's been doing. You know what I mean? Just because, like, the dude's out there just, like running through talent like crazy. Like, you're in there, you might not play freshman year, but if you play sophomore year, you're probably out in 2 years after you have a really good year, right? If you start playing junior year, you have potential to go to the draft if you pulled together the last 2 years. If you start freshman year, you're getting out by junior year, barring injury or anything like that. So, like, what they do there is they just pump dudes out. They just pump dudes out. So, yeah, experience is important, but like you said, Ben, if you got a Caleb Downs, you got a unicorn who's ready to go, like Kinshad Judkins, at Ole Miss, like these other guys, freshmen that are ready to play immediately. It's rare, but it happens, and I think a lot of coaches need to realize, like, you bring in a 5-star linebacker, like, there's no reason why not play him year one, right? If he's that guy. If he's not ready to play ball, then okay, right? If he's still struggling, but if you're just trying to, you might as well get him out there on the field if he's going to be able to help your team out.
Yeah, you want to win, so you play the players who can.
And
help
I think
win.
Nick Saban's not scared to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nick Saban's not one of those guys who's going to be like, yeah, we'll just hold this guy under our belt until he's ready. He's really, feels like I've seen enough out of him. Whatever, like he's ready to go. So. That was interesting to me. That was a good quote. Last but not least, Ben, we'll go to the Pac-12 Media Days. This is a tweet quote. No. This is a tweet that quoted Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff. Sorry, I was about to burp my brains out in this microphone. But no, Yahoo Sports College Football, and it says, quote, losing members to the Big 12 is, quote, not a concern. Quote, I discount that because I know the truth. End quote. That was on July 21st.
Well,
Freezing Cold Takes on Twitter just posted that screenshot. And there go your boys, the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah, well, I don't think that one definitely backfired on them a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
But it's interesting because I wonder if any other teams are looking into it. Like a team, I'm blanking on who I would say right now, but like an Arizona State or something.
Arizona State, both those teams, yeah.
On the rise, I would say, in my opinion, like an Arizona State team. I love Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah, both, I don't know.
So, it could happen. And I guarantee you, this media deal or stability, teams like, maybe I should look into this after seeing Colorado leave.
Sure.
So, it's interesting, and I don't think that they are that secured and that he trusts. I don't know.
And obviously, geographically,
okay,
Arizona State, I know, but
we have to throw geographically.
No. I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying for those listening, obviously, geographically, Arizona State to the Big 12 does not make sense, right?
Right,
but at the end of the day, like you said, Ben, we got to throw geography. We got to throw what's on the map out of the.
He's going to be playing in the cold at Michigan.
We got to throw that stuff out of the freaking window and say, like, if Arizona State's a good fit, because I would love to see him in the Big 12, Ben. I would love to see him in the Big 12, and if the Pac-12 does go under, if the Pac-12 does blow up and those teams don't, and they're not able to bring in a couple Mountain West schools to save them or get a couple teams from the Big 12 to come over there, which is a very high possibility, very well could happen. Like, I would love to see an Arizona State team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I think media rights for them, that would be a pretty good decision, right? They've got Big 12 has a pretty stable media rights deal as of right now. I know they've been the team kind of a conference in the news with the Pac-12, but Arizona State, like you said, been definitely something that they could look into. But again, I mean, recruiting-wise is kind of the only thing that scares me for teams realigning conferences. Right. Because, like, USC, I'm not scared for, right? USC brings in 5 stars. USC brings in guys from the top high schools, top guys in the class. Like, nobody cares who USC is playing for because you get to play at USC, one of the most beautiful campuses, one of the better football programs, blue blood-wise. You got Lincoln Riley in there, right? It's USC, right? It's USC. Teams like a Colorado, you got Deion Sanders, right? That's something that I'm not really worried about. You get Deion Sanders, you got a pretty good NIL fund over there and all that good stuff.
Colorado's a nice place too.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Boulder's great. I haven't been, but I'm sure the campus is nice and all that good stuff.
Boulder, been to Colorado.
Yeah. And then, but I mean, a school like we're talking about Vanderbilt or Duke or something like that, where it's going to be academically tough, and it's going to be something where not a lot of people are going to be interested in your program if you're not playing the top players, right? The top teams. So we'll see how it goes realignment-wise. Interested to see how that continues. Ben, I know you got a few trivia questions for me. So we'll get to that before we get to team previews. But anything else closing up Media Day headlines on episode 54?
Not really.
Not really. All right, well, let's get to this trivia. How many questions you got for me? 5?
I think 5.
All right, 5 questions for the young man.
Yeah.
How many do I have to get? 3? To pass the test?
3 to win.
So it's like the AP exam, right? You got to get 3 to kind of pass.
You can get a 2 and pass.
Okay, so
It doesn't look good, but you can.
Hypothetically, I'll just get a 3. Let's say.
Just get a 3.
Yeah, let's get a 3.
So the first one, you got to find the question now. Which college football team has a record for the most victories in a season without a championship?
Okay, so that's like you're going 13-0 and losing in the national championship.
If you give me the amount of wins, I'll give you half a point.
I think it's.
I'll tell you it. You could guess it, but it's not what you would think.
I would really honestly say it's in the playoff era because you're adding a game. Wrong? Huh. I would say because you're playing a semifinal game, which adds a game on top of the normal conference championship. Okay. Really? So I guess Alabama lost the year that they got whooped by Clemson in the regular season, so they weren't coming in 14-0. So I could get it out of the playoff era. I'm trying to think recently who lost. I mean, Florida State beat Auburn.
It's not within the last 10 years. But
so
it's
2012.
It's in the 2000s and up.
Okay. So it's not in the 90s or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I could tell you the national champion for a lot of those years. I'm not sure I could tell you who's the runner-up.
If I give you the year, you might be able 2009.
Okay, so that's 2 years after the 07 season, which was just an absolute... I was kind of leaning 07, honestly, because that was the year where it was like just absolute mayhem. Missouri was going to be in there, and then they lost at Oklahoma, and then Kansas and USF were both like top 5 teams in the country. That was a wild year. 2009, Missouri. That's my only... Missouri was terrible after that.
Boise State.
Is that the Oklahoma game?
It could be that Fiesta Bowl. I'm not sure, but it could be.
That's crazy. I honestly would not have guessed Boise State.
But they won that game. So maybe it was in a...
I mean, it could have just been a bowl game.
Yeah, just a bowl game.
Who won that year? Do you know?
No, I can look it up.
2009.
We'll check after.
How many wins was it? 13?
14.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know what
How did they win 14 games?
I don't know how that happens.
Wait. 12 regular season games. A conference title.
I'm really not. Maybe there was a play-in game to get to the conference title.
I don't think they did that.
Yeah, it's just
1 and 2. It's a BCS.
It's just who won.
What the frick?
That's weird. I'll when you're trying to figure out the next answer, I'll give it to you.
Just come back to it.
What was the?
All right, so I gotta get 4 out of these last, or 3 out of these last 4.
How many teams right now? You're gonna get this. How many teams are in the FBS right now?
100. Okay, wait. How old is this?
It was from this year.
Like how long ago? Because they added Sam Houston State, Jacksonville State.
I'm pretty positive 2022. So last year.
It's 126 or 130. Now it's 133. It could be. It was for a while. It was like 126, 128, 130.
I'll tell you, it's one of those 3.
Now it's 133. Yeah, I mean, how many teams was there last year? So they added Jacksonville State.
I might be wrong. It might have been this year. Which kind of gives it away, but.
So they added Jacksonville State. They added Sam Houston State. Is it including those or no? It's not 133.
Yeah.
It is 133.
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't tell if it was from this year or not. So I didn't know if they added because obviously Jacksonville State, Sam Houston State, and the CUSA now, and then I'm trying to think. James Madison came up from the FCS. So I mean, there's a couple teams down there that I guess would be changed if it was from 2021 or something.
All right, next question.
All right, question number 3. Let's roll.
So what are you? One for
two, baby. 1 for 2. Got it.
Which team has had the most players drafted in the first round of the NFL draft?
USC.
Yeah, you're right.
Give me the points. 2 for 3, baby.
Right.
2 for 3. 2 for 3. I saw that tidbit somewhere. I'm not completely sure where, but I was ready on that one.
It's way too close to the draft league.
That is true.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a bit close. So actually, it really wasn't.
That was in April.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
Wait, was that in April?
No idea.
Yeah, that was in April. Sheesh.
Yeah, I guess.
Golly. All right.
We were playing baseball still.
Yeah, that's wild.
Which team has won the most overall conference championships?
All right, so I'm 2 for 3. I have the opportunity to get a question wrong here and still finish 3 for 5. So I'm not really sweating it. I feel like I should know this one though. My 2 highly touted guesses right now are Michigan and Oklahoma. Those are the teams that I'm leaning toward.
Sure.
Alabama, I don't think Saban's really done enough work to put them up there with like consistent just dominance. I know Michigan's like leader all time in wins. I feel like Oklahoma.
You have not said this team yet.
Oh, I haven't. Okay, so it's not Michigan, Oklahoma, or Alabama. Notre Dame.
No. It was you actually talked about it earlier.
What?
You talked about the conference.
No, stop. Because am I an idiot? Because Notre Dame is an independent. So what am I doing? I just guessed Notre Dame, who doesn't legitimately does not play in a conference.
They can't play a conference championship.
Boys.
They never have been able to.
Sheesh, Louise, my bad. All right, who is it?
You're just gonna give up?
I don't know who it is.
It's Nebraska.
I knew that. People talk about that all the time. That's all Nebraska fans freaking talk about is we have the most conference titles and dang it, dude. I should have got that one. All right, no problem. 2 for 4.
All right.
3 for 5 on the line right here.
SEC question here.
All right, hit
and
me.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it might be wrong up to this point now, but
Great.
the Vanderbilt Commodores have a winning record against only one SEC team. What is that team?
It was Tennessee for a little bit.
That was just over the last 10 years, I think.
Yeah, it was over the last 10 years.
I will say it is 21-20-1. So I mean, they're definitely
it's like I feel like I should know this just because that was probably talked about a lot. I mean, okay, so it could be different now.
and it is something where you could.
It's Florida or Kentucky. I'm gonna go Florida. Kentucky.
You're 2 for 5, buddy.
Who is it?
It's Auburn.
We talked about that one with Beatty.
Which we 100. I know, like he's always hating. I swear he's brought up y'all losing to Vandy way too much.
Yeah,
They have a losing
for them
record
to have
to
the
Vandy.
losing record. Yeah. All right. Well, the good thing
2
is
for 5, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
I know that's bad. The good thing is I would pass the AP exam. The other good thing is I'm more of I really didn't start following college football in depth. I was more of an NFL guy until about probably around the pandemic. So now that I've kind of strapped into the college football landscape, I'm here.
I'm giving you one NFL trivia question.
No,
right now.
boys. All right, here we go. One NFL off the cuff. Let's
it.
ride. We got 3 teams to talk about, too. I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and USC coming up. If Ben will fire off this trivia question anytime soon.
Yeah, I got to figure it out. Which NFL team has won the most games of all time?
The Green Bay Packers.
Guess he's an NFL guy, man.
Is that right?
Guess he's an NFL
Go
guy.
Pack, go! Go Pack, go! I'm a Packers fan.
I just saw it and I had to.
Yeah, I'm a Packers fan. You had to set me up for success there. 3 for 6 though. Hey, not bad. 50%. It's pretty terrible actually. So yeah, all right. Trivia done.
Yeah.
Headlines done. We're crossed 2 things off the list here. Rolling in episode number 54. Ben, who do you want to talk about first? We got 3 teams, like I continue to say, but we got 3 fun teams. So I'm excited.
No, I'm gonna let you pick.
I kind of want to go.
I'll pick second team.
I kind of want to go Dame. Notre Dame.
Damian Lillard?
Yeah, okay. Notre Dame.
Just kidding. I know who you're talking about. Guys, I know.
Marcus Freeman. In year 2. Weird year last year because I feel like 9 wins really isn't that bad looking back, right? 8-4 regular season. But you lose to Marshall, which was bad.
That one was really bad.
Like they played Cal close. Like this, it was a pretty bad year all around. Definitely pulled it together near the end, but I think the thing about Notre Dame was a lot of people were just upset because they could have had much better season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a 9-3 regular season, 10-3 in the final if you win your bowl game if you just beat Marshall at home. You know what I mean? Obviously, quarterback problems troubled them to death. Tyler Buckner, Drew Pine, they really couldn't figure it out. Tommy Rees, obviously gone as the offensive coordinator, Ben. He's now with the Alabama Crimson Tide. But yeah, I mean, this team's interesting, right? I mean, I know, Ben, at least I saw and sent you the clip of Barstool talking about it. And they're basically acting like Sam Hartman had never stepped foot on a college football field, like they were Indiana. Like they have a new quarterback. I mean, I don't really. This guy's going to be interesting to watch. Like he literally leads the ACC all time in passing touchdowns. But okay, buddy,
he's a scrub.
No, I mean,
I'll talk about him later.
3,000 yards, 38 touchdowns last year. Did throw 12 picks, but like the dude was consistent. The dude was freaking consistent. When we watched him play at Vanderbilt, he was really good looking. Okay, pause. He looked really good on the field. Is what I meant to say. Is what I meant to say there. But no, I mean, obviously lose Tommy Rees, lose Tyler Buckner, lose Drew Pine. So that kind of cluster in the quarterback room is just gone. That's just good. Needed to get rid of that distraction. But you do bring in Sam Hartman, which is big. I think Sam Hartman's got the opportunity to kind of take this team where they need to go. Obviously, schedule-wise, they're always kind of in a weird spot just because they are an independent. Like I said, they don't have a conference to play in. But Ben, your thoughts on Notre Dame kicking us off here? Notre Dame team preview, episode 54.
I'll say this team should have had way more wins.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They lost to Stanford?
Yeah, Stanford and Marshall. That's what I'm telling you.
16-14.
That's brutal.
How?
I remember that game like it was yesterday.
So look, here's the thing. I have my floor, ceiling, and whatever. So I got the floor being 6-6. I've got the ceiling being 10-2.
Yeah.
I've got them going 9-3.
Okay.
Again, they play a lot of games where I think they could lose. I said wins against Navy, Tennessee State, NC State, Central Michigan, Ohio State, which I said earlier. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
If you didn't listen to our Big Ten East predictions, he had Notre Dame beating Ohio State.
I have to make the shows interesting, okay? Because Drew's over here making everything boring. So
yeah.
I'm just kidding. He has Tennessee beating Georgia.
And Arkansas going 10-2.
All right. Louisville, Pitt, Wake, and Stanford, and I've lost to Duke.
That's fair.
USC and Clemson.
I mean, this team basically plays in the ACC. I mean, they
literally are in the ACC.
NC State, Duke, Louisville, Pitt, Clemson, Wake Forest. But no, I mean, looking at the schedule here, I actually, for this one, I didn't do like predictions and all that stuff for the record. But I mean, looking at their schedule, I see 3 losses, I would say.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Clemson, USC, and Ohio State
at Duke
are tough games. At Duke is a tough game. I mean, potentially, I could see them beating Clemson. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
No, I think they could. I have them beating Ohio State. they could beat a lot of teams.
But I mean, Sam Hartman was a guy who competed with Clemson year in and year out at Wake Forest when they had Trevor Lawrence, when obviously they had DJ and Cade Klubnik. So like, he was there through it all. He's got experience. And when we talk about talent beating experience, like it does help, right? Because you can go back and say, hey, Sam Hartman, we've seen this kid play, makes our job easier because it's like, hey, we've seen this kid play against Clemson multiple times, and he was able to do pretty well in a couple of games. So
I mean, the experience and talent at the same time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, obviously. I mean, when you throw for 38 touchdowns, that freaking helps out. But no, I mean, key guys they lose. Michael Mayer, obviously, pretty big loss at the tight end spot. He was a guy, I think he had 800 receiving yards last year, 9 touchdowns. Got snubbed of the Mackey, though. He lost to Brock Bowers last year.
That's not a snub.
Which was rough. I mean, okay, but true. He lost out on the Mackey. Yeah, he was a top 3 tight end, I would say.
It's rough.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is a dog. I think who did Michael Mayer end up playing for now in the NFL?
Oh my gosh, Cowboys.
Well, they drafted Luke Schoonmaker, so I don't know why they would draft 2 tight ends.
Dude.
I think it was a Northern team. I almost want to say like the Packers, but I don't think they drafted him.
Man, who drafted him?
I can't remember. Go ahead, Ben. Now. You're the NFL guy. But no, I mean Joe Alt comes back.
The Raiders.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
I don't like that.
I don't
like that pick.
They have Forrest Moreau, who played at Alabama.
Foster.
Yeah, Foster. Yeah. See, I'm a bum. Anyways, Joe Alt.
He has cancer too.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Is he not playing?
I think he's back.
That's terrible.
I had him in fantasy last year.
Sheesh, no freaking holding back. But no, get well soon. Foster Moreau, man. I remember watching him in Alabama.
They lose Darren Waller. So Michael Mayer actually productive first year.
For the Raiders, yeah. I mean, in Vegas, man, Michael Mayer's going to be living it up in the club.
Not Vegas.
Yeah. He said, not Vegas. But no. Joe Alt, key piece on the offensive line, obviously. He's the best tackle in the draft. This coming up year, 2024. Sure. Best tackle in college football. All the offensive line is returning. Right. Tight end coach is now, whoa, what did I write down here? The tight end coach, Gerard Parker, is the new OC. Obviously, Mayer is gone, but they did promote their tight end coach to be the new offensive coordinator, which is good. And, their offensive line coach, Joe Rudolph. He's new. He's from Virginia Tech. He coached at Virginia Tech in 2022. Run game coordinator, I want to say offensive line coach as well. So he did pretty good things, I guess. I mean, Virginia Tech kind of sucks, but he did okay, right? I mean, he did all right. He's got the opportunity to work with a guy in Audric Estime.
Okay, yeah.
Got to know the man's name, Audric Estime. Absolute beast. And, no, I like him. I mean, I like Audric Estime. He's got the opportunity to work with Joe Alt, who's going to be Sam Hartman's blind side. Like, this offensive line returns 5 guys
you could not be more comfortable.
Who were on the team last year. Notre Dame, pretty blue-collar, hard-nosed football team. I like their O-line this year, Ben.
It really is a perfect place for a quarterback to transfer into.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I know the weapons are different, and I know their receiving is a bit weird, but okay. So what?
No A.T. Perry or Sam Hartman this year.
Yeah, Sam Hartman. It's crazy, dude. I've seen Sam Hartman since senior year of high school. QB1.
Yeah, QB1.
Shout out every time I bring up that show. And
This is so random.
Have you seen Quarterback, the new show on Netflix?
No, I haven't seen it. Is it good?
I've not seen it either.
Because it's Mariota, Cousins, and Mahomes. I felt like you were going to be on that instantly. I haven't seen it yet.
I need to. I don't know why I haven't.
I haven't watched it. No.
Skipping it.
But what I was going to say, yeah, Sam Hartman, like you said, QB1. He went to Oceanside in South Carolina, I believe. Number 1 baseball team's absolute filth. They're really good.
Really?
But yeah, I actually met a kid who played at Oceanside High School, and I asked him about Sam Hartman, and he said that he actually.
Does he show up often?
Yeah, he said that he's there a lot, and that everyone thinks he's like the greatest man to walk the earth, which I would too.
Well, I mean, yeah, if like.
I think they were a new high school too. I almost want to say like new high school or like new football program or something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, but their high school football team was like horrible. Was the story like they were like really bad, and so but anyways like all the teachers and staff and coaches all there all say that Sam Hartman's like the guy, which obviously he is. Went to Wake Forest and is the all-time ACC leader in touchdown passes, but. No, Sam Hartman, key player, will determine the team's success. It is always weird, I guess, kind of seeing a guy go into a new system wise at QB. You're going to have a new offensive coordinator in Gerard Parker. Gerard Parker, like he's going to be a guy who's going to push him a little bit differently. We don't know what we're going to see because he's not in the same offensive system. Dave Doran, all those guys, but. It's going to be fun. I mean, you definitely have to put a little bit of a question mark or an asterisk right there just because it's a new system.
Right, and they are trying to help them. Top 15 recruiting class, I think was 13th in the country.
Yeah.
You bring in transfers, Caleb Smith out of Virginia Tech, so obviously he was recruited. Caleb Smith and true freshman, and wow, that is.
No, you said that last time. Remember, the quality looked fine. It does that on the screen.
Okay, that's interesting. And so I mean, yeah, so they're helping them out for sure, and I think it's something that you have to do. Make it comfortable, and the team will need to bond well. Defensively, you do lose Isaiah Foskey, who was a dog. He had like 11 sacks last year. Great player.
Yeah,
somebody I do really look forward to is Benjamin Morrison. 6 picks last year. I know 5 of them were in 2 games, so He had 3 against, I'm trying to remember, and then 2 against another team.
Yeah.
So, but still, solid. And then J.D. Bertrand is one of their top linebackers. I think led the team in tackles.
We talk about Jack Kaiser, the middle linebacker.
Go ahead.
58 total tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. This kid's gonna be a beast, right? They also have Marist Liufau, 51 total tackles, 4.5 TFLs, 0.5 sacks last year. This is a very good defense, Ben. I have no question marks around their defense. I think Marcus Freeman ultimately will have this defense in a pretty good spot. Al Golden is their defensive coordinator. I know he coached linebackers, I think, and coached defense for Detroit in the NFL, coached for Cincinnati, the Bengals, and all that good stuff. So he's got experience. I have legitimately almost 0 question marks about this defense. I really do like this defense. I think their linebacking core is really good. And you get 2 dudes in the portal. Thomas Harper, the safety from Oklahoma State, and Javante John Baptiste, the grad transfer. He's going to be an edge rusher. He's from Ohio State, right?
Also get Antonio Carter.
Yeah.
Right.
Like all these guys, I am not scared about Notre Dame's defense in 2023. I think Notre Dame's defense has got the opportunity to save this team from losing a couple games. Because you come in against an unproven Ohio State team, you throw all these guys at him, you have a really good secondary, you make a new Ohio State QB really think about what he's doing more than once, you start bringing pressure at him. Maybe Ben's prediction is right, and maybe the Buckeyes go in and lose to Notre Dame. So maybe this Notre Dame defense, I mean, I believe in them. I know a lot of people think Notre Dame's pretenders year in and year out.
Of course.
But I believe in this defense. If this offense can mesh and the wide receiver core, which we're going to talk about, can get it together, I don't see a lot of question marks defensively.
I will say this year, Marcus Freeman, I have tended to trust a lot more. I think he's making me trust this Notre Dame team.
Sheesh.
I know
your voice just disappeared from your body there for a second.
I think he's changing the culture to a positive mindset, and I really like it. You know, every time I think Notre Dame, I think last year where they played South Carolina in the bowl game, top bowl game.
That was a good game.
I love that game. It was like 31-30. It was great game. And you know, this year he's hoping to do something this year. You know, you do bring in 4-star Kenny Minchie, who we saw play.
The Beast, JP2. Yeah, he's from Pope Prep here in Nashville,
yes, he is.
Or Hendersonville.
And so he is doing what he needs to do. If he can figure out the QB situation over there, that would be nice for him to do.
Top 50 portal class, though. I think he came in at 43.
43.
Okay, I was. You know, I was going to say.
We both were already saying 43. And so yeah, I mean, he's doing his job, and he's doing it well. If he can figure out how to win these games, they only lost 21-10 to Ohio State last year.
No, I mean the game wasn't too far out of reach. You got a really good backfield, right? There's no questions about the backfield. No question about the blindside blocker for Notre Dame. That's Joe Alt.
That's great feeling.
But Sam Hartman, Audric Estime, like these guys are beasts, right? Audric Estime, I mean, 920 yards, 11 touchdowns, just a really good running back in the red zone, really shifty. Watching highlights of the kid right against Navy, hits a spin move in the backfield to escape. I know it's Navy, but like he was really shifty, really able to get it out.
Defense isn't really the problem over there.
Yeah, able to get out from under pressure. Wait, was that like a joke? Like they're defending our country, so it's like the
no.
defense is good?
I mean, they can't pass the ball, which is the
main problem. Ty Lavatai is their quarterback. That's the random.
Probably has more rushing.
That's the random college football knowledge.
He probably has more rushing yards than passing.
And they also have what's the other guy's name over there? He does definitely. And Xavier Arline is their other guy. He played lacrosse. Do you know that?
Yes.
He played lacrosse.
I was Army Navy last year. I think Xavier Arline actually played more.
And it was and it was Navy UCF. That game I watched a little bit of. It was early one morning. Tuned into that one. Good game. I like UCF, but no. Logan Diggs gone to LSU. So our boy Audric's going to have to step up. I don't see a problem. Could be an 1,000-yard rusher here in 2023. Going to take some pressure off Sam Hartman because this wide receiver core is just it's kind of weird, right? Very unproven. Yeah. Very unproven.
Last year, it really wasn't that good last year. I know they really did not have anyone to throw them the ball.
Yeah. But
consistently, but it really was Michael Meyer.
Everybody else. I mean, Deion Colsey, Jaden Thomas, both guys who caught for like 250-plus yards. I think Colsey got up around 300, 400 yards last year. Yeah, I mean, and then Jaden Thomas was around there too. Tobias Merriweather, another guy who's going to be able to step up. I think he's going to play the slot a little bit this year. And you get a couple freshmen as well. So, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like you get one catch last year. Like I mean, it's going to be weird to see a guy out there who caught one football in 2022 in real game action. So
I mean, you're bringing in 3 4-star receivers, and so I mean, like really, You have pieces.
But even when I hear people talk about Notre Dame, it's like, what the F is this team? You know, what are we even doing this year? Like, what
mindset is different now, though.
But I don't understand, like, what the question, like, what are you? I don't understand what's the question. Like, what are you concerned about for this team? Because I feel like this is a solid team. Do they have the Jimmies and Joes to beat Ohio State straight up, or Clemson straight up, or go in and escape a trap game against Duke? We don't know that yet, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to see the receivers catch footballs. You have to see Sam Hartman in a new offensive scheme. I understand all that, but on paper, if you're just looking at this team on paper, which is what we're doing because it's July, like, what are you really questioning? I think this team's got the potential to really go out here and shake the ball.
They can win 10 games.
10 or 11. I mean, why not?
I would not say 11.
I think they could beat Clemson. I think their only loss could potentially be to Ohio State.
I think 11's bold.
I think you would either have to beat Ohio State or USC, but one of those is possible. I'll be at that freaking USC game, and I would love to see Notre Dame win.
Dude, that's actually so lucky.
I mean, if Notre Dame comes in that game undefeated, at home at Notre Dame,
college game day right there. That's college game day.
That's college game day. That's Notre Dame potentially pulling an upset, dude. If it's at Notre Dame, that's the upset I want to see. But and you would be there. That would be crazy because
you would be there, buddy, not me.
No, I'm sorry. And like, I would be there, and then we could talk about Notre Dame because you picked them for the freaking upset. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I like this team. I don't really see a lot of question marks around this team. Obviously, you're gonna have a couple new defenders in there, get those guys implemented into the scheme, but I think Al Golden could do that pretty well. So I don't know what the question mark is. I like Notre Dame. I think they got potential to win 10 or 11 games this year. If all things go right. You got anything else on the Fighting Irish, Ben?
Dude, I'm so excited for college football. It actually gets me so excited. Yeah, just talking about game day, everything. Like, dude, I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. So who do you want to go to next?
All right, we're gonna go.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for that. I think we're gonna jump to the UNC Tar Heels.
Okay.
I know. I would definitely rather talk about them than Wisconsin.
Jeez.
No offense to Wisconsin.
Hate Wisconsin, don't you?
I don't hate Wisconsin, but I'm pretty positive. I don't even know. UNC or Wisconsin as title contenders.
Definitely Who would I pick? I would pick UNC just because they have Drake May.
And an easier
conference. And we're going in the way that you said that I wrote it down. So you're kind of rolling with me here. I was going to pick UNC as well, so we're on the same wavelength here.
Great minds think
alike. But Drake May is good enough to take this team to a national championship.
Yes, he is.
If you drop Drake May if you drop Drake May in the locker room at Alabama right now, and he is Alabama's starting QB, there's no doubt in my mind people are just going crazy on Alabama, hammering the national championship odds. They think Alabama's going to go 12-0, and Nick Saban's a mastermind. Like, Drake May is that guy. I love Drake May.
I love Mac Brown, too.
I love Mac Brown. He was an analyst for a little bit. And that's crazy because he was a Texas guy, Ben.
Yeah.
He was a Texas guy. That's high praise from an OU fan. But no, I mean, Chip Lindsey comes over. He was at Auburn. He's a new offensive coordinator, obviously. We'll talk about the old offensive coordinator, Phil Longo, a little bit when we talk about Wisconsin. Right. But he is there. He was a mastermind, though. He brought the air raid to North Carolina. He really did help out Drake May. So losing Phil Longo to help Drake May throw the football around the yard, a little bit concerning. I probably wouldn't say too much of a concern just because Drake May's got the pure freaking raw talent to go out there and beat a lot of teams. But then top 10 wins of all time, college football-wise, Mac Brown is on the list. Can you tell me what number he is?
Okay, is it top
10 all-time wins in college football history?
Top 10 or top 5?
10.
7.
7.
It's always 7.
It always is 7. Yeah, number 7 all-time in wins. Had a 9-year stint at USC. I forgot to write it down. From 88 to 97, I believe, was the years on that.
It's like, what is that guy's name? John Gagliardi.
Yeah, he coached it
for 60 years.
He coached for 60 years at St. John's. He was just around for an eternity. Yeah, he's been coaching for a while, Mac Brown has. I want to say 88 to 97 was his first stint at UNC. He's back since 2019. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
88 to 97. There we go. Called it. But if that would have been a trivia question, maybe I could have friggin' scored a little bit higher. But no, I mean, he's been there now since 2019.
I mean, he's already in the College Football Hall of Fame.
I know. When I went to the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, the dude was there. I was like, how is that even possible? Because he retired and became an analyst and then got back into it. So, I mean, he's kind of talking about a guy who's probably unable to be fired at this particular point. Like, I don't know if you can fire him.
I would wait for him to resign.
Yeah, I would too. But no, Drake May, you do lose Josh
He
Downs,
is
Ben.
71. You know he grew up in Cookville?
Hey, Cookville, there we go. Home of the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles.
Yeah. And so I will say my floor for them was 7-5.
Okay.
Ceiling 11-1. You never
Yeah.
know. I have them going 10-2. It really comes down to if this team can stay consistent.
Okay, I know that doesn't sound hot, but like it's kind of hot.
9-3 is a bit more reasonable. If this team can just stay consistent, man. I mean, last year they killed themselves in the later half of the season, lost like 4 straight going into the end of the year. And I do have them losing to Clemson and NC State. I know that's kind of disrespectful, but
that's nuts.
But I think it could happen. They play them back to back, and guess what? They're both away games, and they're both at the end of the year. So we've seen that happen before.
The schedule is so easy.
We've seen that happen before, and literally it is pretty light until Clemson and NC State.
Out there, South Carolina's pretty tough. You get it at home.
Oh yeah. It's game. That's a losable game.
Did you hear that? Game day will be there.
Oh really?
Game day will be in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That'd be cool.
Because they're playing in Charlotte, the Duke's Mayo Classic.
Is that week 1? Is that week 1?
Week 1. Yeah, week 1.
Is there a week 0 game
September
day?
2nd. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But they are saying, like, I know New Mexico State football has like a funny admin, and so they're pushing to go to Las Cruces or however to say that.
Take it.
But yeah,
anything to watch game day.
App State. That was a game last year that went down to the absolute freaking wire.
Great game. I was in Dollywood. I was watching it on my phone on like a roller coaster, like waiting. It was a great game.
Minnesota, Pitt, Syracuse. I'd say you probably sweep those 3 teams. Pitt's probably not going to be as good this year. Miami's
a team I really want to talk about, man.
Miami at home. I think we'll talk about Miami next episode. Did we already talk about what we're going to talk about next episode?
Yes.
Who was it?
Well, we still have to do all Big 12, all Pac-12.
Yeah, so it was like Texas, OU, and...
No, you said...
Let's do...
FSU.
Oh, we've talked about Florida State, too.
We still have to talk about USC.
Let's go USC, Texas, Miami next episode.
I would toss another team in there. FSU.
And then after that, go FSU, Oklahoma, and...
Dude, there's more. I would like to talk about a lot of Pac-12 teams.
And Oregon. And then after that, we can go...
Really want to talk about Washington.
And then we can go Washington, Colorado, and...
Oh, yeah, we have 4 episodes.
Yeah, we have a bunch.
I think it's 5. We have 5 more episodes, right? I think.
4.
I think we only have 3 then. The 4th is we're going to be doing week 0 talk.
True. Okay. Yeah. So we'll figure it out. We won't talk about it on air, but we will figure it out. Anyways, I think you beat Virginia, Georgia Tech, Campbell, Duke. Always a team that kind of keeps popping up in trap game talks and conversations. But at Clemson, at NC State, 2 games to finish off the year. Definitely not gimme games. So I see where we're coming from there, Ben. I think 10-2 is honestly pretty likely. So I would say. I think if you lose that South Carolina game, it kind of gets you off track. I would say that's definitely a game that...
If you lose that game, App State is definitely losable.
Yeah.
Maybe you lock in for App State after that.
I think you would have
You're
to.
also not in Boone anymore.
You're at North Carolina this year.
Yeah. It's a bit less threatening.
I mean, if you go 11-1 this year, which is very possible.
In the ACC, 11-1 ACC championship, are you letting them in? 12-1 at that point.
Yeah, because that would mean
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, that would mean they would have to beat Florida State or somebody. I can't remember.
Clemson twice.
Yeah, I think
something
they
like
took
that.
out of the ACC, so it's top 2 teams. So
yeah,
it would be like
Clemson, Florida
State,
State,
or a sleeper,
some
or
random
like
team.
that.
Yeah,
Miami maybe if they sneak up there or something, but
Virginia. Just kidding.
Yeah, Virginia.
Kidding.
Cellar dweller
championship.
All
right, so here's what I said. Drake May returns after a very solid fresh. He was a freshman last year.
Redshirt.
Might we? Yeah, redshirt freshman. Sorry, not true. And that is they are losing Josh Downs.
Yeah, that's rough
loss. They do bring Devontae Walker in from Kent State and Nate McCollum from Georgia Tech.
That's my boy. I like both those guys. I think they combined like
Kent State Golden Eagles, man. I
Golden
feel kind of
Flash.
bad for them.
Golden Flash.
Golden Flash. Sorry.
They combined for like 1,700 yards last year, though. And they did lose 8.
Because they lose Dante
Cephas and Devontae Walker in the portal. That's brutal.
And, okay, I will say 4 of the 5 starting linemen are back.
Huge.
Big plus. Elijah Green was solid last year, 558 and 8 touchdowns. Drake May actually ran for more yards than him last year. But I think he will have a much better year this year behind the same O-lineman, and I think they can figure it out.
Yeah. No, I mean, like you said, Elijah Green is a Gator running back. British Brooks is the other guy in the backfield. Love that guy's name.
British Brooks.
About 300 yards on the ground last year. So this North Carolina team, man, Like you said, Ben, they returned a lot on the offensive line. They got a veteran presence in Drake May, who's a redshirt sophomore. Yeah. So he basically, I would say he's an upperclassman. And obviously, yes, Josh Downs leaves, but J.J. Jones, don't sleep on J.J. Jones, the returning receiver for them. Yeah. He almost had 500 yards last year, 2 TDs. So one of those guys, I don't think there's really one of those guys that's going to be a new Josh Downs. You know what I mean? Because he was so productive. I mean, He was one of the leading receivers in the ACC. But if those three can make a collective effort to really just let Drake May sling the football around, not to mention Elijah Green, British Brooks taking pressure off of him, and Drake May's quite the runner, right? So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do offensively, just because obviously it is a new scheme. I knew we were going to talk about that, so we'll see what Chip Lindsey does. But at Auburn, I mean, he coached Jarrett Stidham. He was there during that 2018, all that stuff. So I don't know, man. I'm not completely sure. I think Drake May has got the potential to be a very highly touted draft pick. And we'll see, dude. This offense is going to be fun. But it's a question mark just because of Chip Lindsey. Not saying that he's not going to be any good. It's just new. It's just new.
This defense.
Let's freaking talk about it.
One of the most underrated players in college football.
Cedric Gray.
Cedric Gray.
Cedric freaking Gray.
I talked about this guy last year. I don't remember what I did. It was something
I actually have that written down. All caps. Ben, we talked about Gray last season.
They said something about him. It was something. I was like, it was when we were going All-American teams. And I was like, he should have been All-American. I don't know if he was. He deserves it.
Look, he was all ACC. I know.
He deserved it.
He was all ACC.
144 total tackles.
Hold on. Sorry. Look, we got to redo this so I can put this on the Twitter cut. We got to go with we're slim on editing skills. So here we go. Cedric Gray, Ben, one of the most underrated players in college football. Go ahead.
Dude, we talked about him last year. We talked about this guy. He should have been an All-American. I don't know if you did. I 100% did.
Yeah.
And so, 144 total tackles. 2 picks.
Yeah.
3 forced fumbles. This guy was everything you want out of a linebacker.
12 PFLs and a sack.
Everything you want out of a linebacker and more.
Yeah.
Literally, him and Power Echols this year are going to be
that guy's
absolute
written down too.
Demon duo. I'm so excited.
I wrote down one of the most underrated linebacker cores in college football. I think they got the potential to really make an impact. If Gray can get in the backfield and wreak some havoc, that takes a lot of pressure off Drake May and that offense. Defensively, they bring in a couple of transfers, but Tommy Thigpen, Charlton Warren are going to be 2 guys who are going to be leading that defense. And Tommy Thigpen is their inside linebackers coach, right? So he's producing a lot at the linebacker level. Cedric Gray, Ben, one of the most underrated linebackers in all of college football. Love watching the kid play.
For sure.
But, like I said, 2 key transfers on defense.
He was second-team All-American.
There we go. He wasn't All-American.
Could have been first.
2 key transfers on defense, right? That's Elijah Huzzy, the junior cornerback from ETSU, and
great names.
Derek Allen, seriously, the safety grad transfer from Georgia Tech, also played at Notre Dame. So,
who transferred to
Penn State?
Yeah,
this team is pretty. They got a couple holes on defense. I would say a couple things that they could get a little bit better. But Warren, Thigpen, both those coordinators, I really do have faith in. And dude, I like UNC.
Really do, man. The more I talk about them, the more I just like them.
Exactly, yeah. Kind of fires you up to kind of get on the hype train this year for UNC.
I'm so excited for college football, man.
Yeah, I know. We keep saying it, but we're teed, man. We're teed.
This is great. I'm so excited for this team. There's so many just must-watch teams this year, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
Yeah, this defense gets better. Armani Chapman and Tavius Lane, 2 guys who come in the graduate transfer portal. This team is stacked up in the secondary. Mac Brown, the recruiting coordinators, Thigpen, Warren, all those guys, all hands on deck to really make this team a really fun team to watch defensively. So offensively, if we know what we're going to get out of Chip Lindsey, if Drake May can bring what he had last year with a new coordinator, I have faith in this team to really make a push for the ACC championship. I know they were there last year. I think a lot of people forget that. But they got smoked, right? They weren't really ready to compete. And if they were, they didn't really show it that night. So I want this team to get back. I believe in them. Maybe that's just me, Ben, but I do like North Carolina.
I agree. I like them. And, you did have them going 9-3 before we started this segment. So I will say that. But
wait, when did I say that?
Remember I said 10-2 and you said that was bold.
Yeah, that is true. I kind of talked myself into it here.
But look, we really do like what they're doing. Yeah. You stay consistent. You stay a consistent ball club, which is something that last year kind of fell apart. It's just some running water.
I thought it was raining outside. No. I was like, man, it's stormy here in Nashville.
And
running
so,
water.
Look, you stay consistent. You win those games. You have to win at the end of the year. This is a team that is they are looking very well set up.
They're legit. Let's go to Wisconsin, Ben. Let's go to Madison, Wisconsin.
The Badgers.
Whoa. The Badgers.
The Badgers. I didn't want to say Badgers because it sounds stupid in my head, but then
Luke Fickell. When you talk about guys who are here for the program, I know we talk about it every time we talk about this team, which is a lot because we talked about Wisconsin on the last episode that got corrupted. So, we've talked about this team an unbearingly amount of times. But Luke Fickell, guy there for the program, right? He was on the Wisconsin sidelines during the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in 2022. Guy loves Wisconsin. At Ohio State and his associate, right? Took Cincinnati to the college football playoff. Brings in Tanner Mordecai, brings in a couple guys on defense. I'm ready for this team. Tanner Mordecai was a guy who threw for 3,500 yards and 33 touchdowns.
That's my boy.
Top 10 in the NCAA last year at SMU. This guy is legit. He's ready for Power 5 ball.
They're bringing him and Nick Evers. So they just got Oklahoma's quarterback room if they were 4 years ago.
Yeah, seriously.
And
I
Nick
don't know
Evers.
if it was 4 years ago, but...
Well, Tanner Mordecai was there, I swear, he's in his 60th year.
Yeah. But no, I mean, Braylon Allen comes
absolute
back.
Dog.
He's an absolute dog, man. I mean, there's videos of him lifting in the weight room his freshman year, and he's just throwing stuff. And now he's a junior, and he's tweeting out, you should see me now. This guy's ready. He's ready to go.
I'm ready for a Braylon Allen.
Luke Fickell's got this social media team hyped. They're showing videos of them lifting in a weight room with a mask and all red lights. This team, I'm on the hype train for Wisconsin.
It's a mood in Wisconsin.
It is. It is a mood in Wisconsin. And I think Braylon Allen's going to be the key piece of that because I think the most important thing about Braylon Allen this year. Oh, sorry. I need to move this. Sorry, I kind of fell asleep on the job here. I didn't put up the banner for Wisconsin. Let's get on that.
I will say, look, you bring new offense coordinator. We talked about it. Phil Longo. Bring him in, and they do bring in 3 transfer receivers. And C.J. Williams from USC.
He got one ball last
out of Oklahoma State, and yeah, I know. But still, look, he was a 4-star transfer, so I mean,
and he's at USC. Yeah, I mean,
USC has great receiving room.
But sorry, what I was going to say earlier before I messed up the producer duties here is that Braylon Allen is a guy that I think most importantly for this team and most importantly for Luke Fickell in his first year is that you know what you're going to get out of Braylon Allen. Right, you know what you're going to get. He's going to be a power running back out of the backfield, but if he gets in space, he can be able to run. Right, he's going to be a threat in the backfield for sure. He ran for 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. Probably one of the better running backs in the Big Ten this year, and he's consistent. He's really consistent. He has a good game week in and week out. And with, like you said, new receivers out there, a couple unproven guys. Tanner Mordecai, who's coming from the Group of 5 level, not taking anything away from him, but that's an adjustment. I feel like
it is. It's always is.
And I mean, you get a guy Braylon Allen who's just consistent. He knows what he's doing, and he's consistent game in and game out. 11 touchdowns is hard to deny, Ben.
I will say I have Wisconsin going 9-3. Okay. Competing with Iowa for the top of the Big Ten West.
You know how I feel about it. We had hot takes. I got them going 10-2.
Right, and I basically the same, but we both have them basically winning the Big Ten West. And I do have them losing to Illinois, Ohio State, and Minnesota. Yeah, just random trap games. You know, just 3 losses is what I see on the schedule. I not that they will lose those 2 teams. I think Ohio State is a loss.
I think Ohio State's a loss too.
I think the other 2 teams could come from a lot of places. Indiana, Iowa. I do have them beating Iowa. So I mean. The other 2 losses could come from anywhere, in my opinion. But
I mean, you talked about the receivers. C.J. Williams, 4 balls, 34 yards last year. He came from USC though, like you
said. Jordan Addison, Mario Williams,
Brendan Rice, all those guys over there who are really good. C.J. Williams, Will Pauling, core guys who transfer in as well. Will Pauling transferred in from Cincinnati, and then Chimere DK is how I'm going to say it. DK. It's DK. I think it is. I when I listened to pronunciation to prepare for the episode, it said DK. Yeah. Okay. So I did my research here. So if I'm mispronouncing it, I'm avoiding it.
When I looked at that guy, I was like, oh yeah.
I don't want to say the obvious pronunciation, and I do think it's DK.
I don't think it is.
Anyways, DK last year, almost 700 yards, 6 touchdowns receiving. So maybe don't worry about his name so much as worry about him freaking lighting up.
Absolutely burning you up.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I like this team. One of the bigger guys that I saw transfer in. By the way, Jack Bicknell is coaching this offensive line. I believe in him and Phil Longo. That was kind of random, but not really, because Jake Renfro the safety transfer, the center transfer, the redshirt junior follows Luke Fickell over from Cincinnati last year. 19 total starts, all AAC player with the Bearcats at Cincinnati. And reading about him, he was one of the better centers in the AAC. Consistently one of the better centers out there. I really think that Jake Renfro is going to have the opportunity to be one of the better centers in the Big Ten, and that's saying something because, I mean, you had John Michael Schmitz drafted. If you want to talk about John Biaggi, who was drafted from Wisconsin a couple years ago, he's now the starting center for the Cowboys. Like, they produce centers. They produce offensive linemen in the Big Ten at Wisconsin. So,
starting center for the Cowboys is definitely Tyler Biadasz.
That's what I just
said. Is that who you said?
Biaggi. That's how he says his name.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That is Biadasz.
Either way. Biaggi.
That's why I got confused.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, he is
Same guy.
Same guy from Wisconsin.
And they also bring in 2 Cincy linemen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, they're just
stacking
it up. And Luke Fickell's doing what some people don't like, but bringing players with them from Cincy. So
yeah. And their defense. We talk about defense a lot,
dude,
because there's two teams that we've talked about so far. That's
I've got
North
this name
Carolina
down.
and Notre Dame. Both those teams have had almost 0 holes on defense.
I've got this name down. Okay, they do lose Jim Leonard, though. They do lose Jim Leonard.
They do lose Jim Leonard.
I've got this name down.
Sorry, you say it. Let me say something real quick. Jim Leonard did go to Illinois. Did you see that?
Yes.
He went as like a defensive analyst. They gave up 20 points per game last year, top 20 in the college football landscape. And they got a key on defense. I'm going to let Ben say his name.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Meima Nyongmeta.
Yeah.
That has to be right.
Meima Nyongmeta.
That sounds right.
95 total tackles, 12.5 TFLs, 3.5 sacks, 1 pick. At the linebacker spot, a lot of these teams have an elite linebacker. Nyongmeta is like no different.
Yeah. See, that just sounds so pure off the tongue.
That does sound so pure off the tongue. So I believe that is right. He's an absolute beast. Excited to see the kid play this year.
They bring in a few transfers. Jason Maitre from Boston College, Darian Varner from Temple. So I mean, they're doing a lot of things that they need to do.
I'm excited for Varner.
Yeah, I'm excited for this whole team.
Yeah.
So these 3 teams that we talked about, they're doing everything they need to do to win games.
Yeah, and
they're filling holes. They're getting better. I like it.
They're getting better by bringing in Phil Longo. Like, that get is just so good because you're not even promoting him.
I am,
honestly. Like, maybe the money is different, but you're just bringing him from one school to another. That means he is there for Wisconsin. He believes in Wisconsin. He believes in a QB in Tanner Mordecai, and he loves the air raid. So Tanner Mordecai is going to get some rip throwing the football.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I am interested to see how the offense works because you do have a stellar running back, but you're also an air raid offense coordinator. So,
and honestly,
it is interesting.
I do think Tanner Mordecai could be a guy that sneaks up a few teams' draft boards.
He's older
because yes, he's older. But if he goes out here and lights up the league, I mean, he threw for 33 touchdowns last year, which was 8th in college football. Right, so this guy is going to have the opportunity under Phil Longo to light up stats.
That literally reads
stat
that reads Hendon Hooker.
Except
better defense.
That lights up stat lines, and he's got the opportunity to go in and at least compete in the Big Ten championship. If you put him on a bigger stage where NFL scouts are going to be there, they're going to be watching people at the Big Ten championship, and you put him in the spot to play in the Big Ten championship to win 10 games. Luke Fickell played college football. Like, he's got the connections. I really do think Tanner Mordecai with a really good year could climb up a few GM's draft boards.
Exactly, seen that. Aiden O'Connell himself.
Yeah.
Purdue they did what they had to do, and Aiden O'Connell was a piece of that, and he got drafted.
But I think Tanner Mordecai could potentially go like 2nd round.
I would say 3rd would be nice because of age, specifically because of age.
Like, I don't think that it's out of the possibility.
Hendon Hooker, the ACL is a problem, but I think
age was definitely a factor.
Exactly, and 3rd round I think is.
Plus, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you do also have to see what Hendon Hooker is going to adjust like in the NFL, because you're not going to be out there just running like the route concepts that you under Josh Heupel. That is in college football offense. That's not an offense that you can just go over to the NFL and just master, right? So Hendon Hooker wise, the scheme was a little bit different.
Right.
I know Phil Longo is kind of the same, but I'm excited for Longo and Mordecai together. I think that's a nasty duo. And obviously, Braylon Allen, like you said, a stud at running back. So watch out for Wisconsin in 2023. Top 35 transfer portal class under Luke Fickell. He's a guy who's there for the program. And, dude, Wisconsin, I'm on the hype train this year, Ben.
I'm on the hype train for a lot of teams that we just talked about. I'm on the hype train for every team in college football, man. I just want a great year. I just want there to be a great year of college football, enjoyable content, and, dude, I'm excited.
I'm excited too, man. I'm excited too. a couple plugs to end off the episode here, Ben. If the viewers and listeners don't mind.
Go ahead.
Twitter @so_boy_sports. Instagram is @southern_boy_sports pod. Right here, man. This hat came from universitytraditions.biz. I know they're coming out with a lot of new hats. They have a TriStar hat. They have a Magnolia hat. And they're running a bunch of giveaways over on Twitter, a couple promo codes. But if you want a promo code that's going to last you forever, it is code SBS15 over at universitytraditions.biz. Our other LastStandHats.com, officially licensed Texas everything, whether it's University of Texas, UTSA, North Texas, Stephen F. Austin. They got everything. They got golf polos. They got hats, T-shirts, NIL team-ups, all of that stuff. LastStandHats.com. Use code SouthernBoys for 10% off your purchase, and follow them over on Twitter as well. So a lot of plugs there, Ben. If you're listening on Spotify, please make sure to leave it a 5-star review. I think we're up to 25-star reviews. It's averaged out to 5 stars total, which is nice. Like and subscribe over on YouTube as well. Looking to get to 50. Nice little first milestone. Yeah. Continuing that climb, but get to 50 if you don't mind first. I think we're 15 away. So
solid stuff.
Ready to ride for college football
man.
season.
I'm so ready. And we're ready. We're ready to put out a lot of content. We're ready for it.
We are.
Coming out with a lot of different stuff, trying some golf stuff. We're going to try some.
We are trying some golf stuff.
CFB revamp stuff. I mean, the golf stuff, look, guys.
I was editing out the video.
And we're just like, oh, my. What were we What are we doing on the links?
Yeah, I know. I
don't think so.
I think I can show.
But look, we're not golfers. I will say that first off.
All right, here we go. I think I can do it.
Go ahead and try.
I think I can pull up the video. Like a little.
Go ahead and try. We'll keep on talking. I mean, that is a lot of screens.
That is a lot of screens, but I think we got it.
And the people listening, you're gonna hear a few glimpses of it too.
Yeah,
and
you're gonna hear it.
You're gonna know what you're hearing.
Yeah, you're gonna want to go watch it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and all that stuff. Here we go. Let's fire up the video on YouTube. We go. Little sneak peek.
Oh man. Oh yeah, Pierce. See the little ball drop? Let's go golfing. Nope. That did not happen. Beautiful time lapse. Yeah, I really like this part.
I had to cut out the license plate.
I told you.
In frame. I didn't think it was gonna go slow enough to get it. But we did cut out the license plate. So
my driving's really quality.
That didn't happen though. I hit him in the fairway.
We were not. Dude, I'll say it after. Here we go, Drew. I say that every time. Yeah, no. Like, here's Drew. Dude, man. You know, something that it's great quality. I love that you put the swing right there.
Yeah, that was kind of hard.
The background is me. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea where that went, but I think there's some stuff that is gonna be. It's gonna be that we can do, like mini golf, dude. I've seen mini golf stuff look so.
That would be a fun video.
That would be way easier to record. Video.
Yeah.
It could be quad.
Yeah. Stuff. Hey, mini golf content, all that good stuff. Maybe another.
We need to work on putting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's perfect.
Yeah. It would be fun. But no, seriously, I think we also have some big things coming with University Traditions. Not going to spoil anything, but I think we have some big things coming.
We need y'all's help.
Yeah, we do need y'all's help big time. So we do need y'all's help. I'll post on Twitter. I might post an audio clip on Spotify. If you like that thing
bottom left, we'll see.
Yeah, if you like that little logo down there, just be ready. But I don't know yet. Not completely sure about everything, and we're gonna test everything out. But thank you for listening to the 54th episode of the Southern Boy Sports Podcast. Same time, same place next week.
See you, boys.